Hello Geordies, welcome back to Two for Joy. An underwhelming performance by Newcastle, but a win nonetheless against Burnley at St James. Where to start with this one? Really, I feel like there's a lot being made out of Newcastle not performing so well against 10 men. But I have to say, the 6 changes to the first team, it makes a big difference having a settled squad. And really, I feel the game was not controlled in the manner it should have been from our midfield. And that comes down to the changes of having Jacob Ramsey and Joe Willock come in. And I felt that Joe Willock's performance wasn't a bad one. Jacob Ramsey, I felt, was lucky really to stay on the pitch. He really seems an underwhelming start from Jacob Ramsey all round. But I have to give credit to Bruno, Captain Bruno. It does feel like Bruno seems to be carrying us through a lot of these games, and I heard a stat the other day that since Bruno signed, we haven't won a game without him, and it's a worry. It's a telltale sign that there's one guy that makes us click, and if teams shut him down, we won't operate. And Bruno's a world-class player. I think he's fantastic, and I hope he stays at Newcastle for the next 5-6 years. But we have to be able to play games without him. We have to get into a system that works, where we're not solely reliant on Bruno to make the difference. And his corner was absolutely fantastic. What a fucking world-class corner. Especially over Dubravka. I felt for him a little bit, but it is what it is. And I have to say, I have to give credit, Anthony Gordon. I thought Anthony Gordon looked really sharp in this game, and I don't know what has quite clicked for him, and I hope it continues. And obviously it's against a 10-man Burnley, so it should be easier. But I thought Gordon looked pretty sharp. He was beating his man down the line, and it's Kyle Walker, one of the fastest right backs in the Premier League. Even if he is 34 and his pace has dropped, he is still bloody quick. And I thought Gordon did really well today. I also thought Alanga started to show a little bit more, and there looks to be a little bit more confidence from him. And when he bursts through and the Burnley defender brings him down, I felt a little bit sorry for Burnley, if I'm being honest. He is last man. He has clipped him. It is a red, but it kind of killed the game for them, I think. But a great result. Another great result. And it pushes us up the table, and we need this. We need these results to start coming and build a winning run. Obviously, with the Sunderland game coming up. And, the Mackhams have been licking their lips at the idea of Newcastle coming there out of form and Sunderland in the rich vein of form that they are at home. But I'm hoping that 3-0 battering by Man City yesterday and Luke O'Nien getting sent off might just rock the boat for them a little bit. And it might leave them, a little bit less confident as they come into the game against us. So, but the interesting things is I really feel I'd really like Ramsdale to get a clean sheet, and he was unlucky with the penalty again. Ramsey, why he's put his arm out, no idea. But I think if he doesn't put that arm out, they probably score anyway. But I think this is, while we didn't dominate the game and while we didn't hold as much possession as we should do, there were positives to take from that game. And I see a lot of people say it's an underwhelming result and the performance was underwhelming, but it's building blocks. We have to take this as building blocks. We got Wissa back. We got Lewis Hall come on and got a little bit in the second half. Dan Burn playing at left back again. It's not what I want to see, but if ever there was a game to make the changes and rest players, and this is the weakest tie of the next 2 weeks. So no slight on Burnley, but we have to change it up. We have to rotate. So I think it was the right thing to do to change the lineup, change the players. But we still seem to have quite a bit of creative freedom up front. And while we probably didn't finish as many chances as we should do, and we probably should be a canter to 3-4-0 at a 10-man Burnley, I'm not comparing Burnley to Chelsea, but you saw Chelsea go down to 10 men against Arsenal and they still managed to dig in deep and get a result there. It's not always easier to play against 10 men, and I would say we have to take the positives from this game. We've had 2 wins, a draw, back to another win. This is how we need to build. We need to build on these performances and go, we need to get a little run going now, up to Christmas, through the winter months, into the January window. We need to start to build some momentum. And I think I saw yesterday, another win could put us as high as 4th. So it's kind of key at this point. A few more wins and this season can turn around really quickly. It is always the way. You know, we're languishing in 14th and people are saying, oh, Newcastle are done, this is over, blah, blah, blah. They're also saying that Arsenal were 6 points clear at the top and, you know, they've got this in the bag now. And 2 weeks later, Man City are 2 points behind them and 1 more loss and they could be off the top spot. It's how the Premier League is. It is the most competitive league in the world. Everything changes so quickly, but all I can say is I have to take positives from the fact that we're getting more players back fit. We look to be gelling as a squad, I think, better. There are a few outliers from this, obviously, like I say, Jacob Ramsey, and I feel like Lewis Miley would have been a better fit in that midfield. But as a whole, if you look at, we've got Leverkusen midweek and we've got Sunderland next weekend, I would much rather see your Lewis Miley, your Sandro Tonali, your Bruno, Joel Linton in a midfield in those games than I would in the game against Burnley. So while it's not the greatest result, it is still 3 points. Let me know down in the comments below whether you think that midfield's performance yesterday was as dire as everybody's making out, or whether I'm just brushing over it because we got 3 points. Also, let me know what you think our most settled backline is, because I have to say, I feel like Malik Chow and Fabian Schär as a centre-back pairing is more. There's more stability to that backline than there is with Dan Burn and Malik Chow. So let me know in the comments below, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Please, everybody, start to sub. I'm really trying to grow the channel. I want to get everybody involved. Make sure you hit me up in the comments. I've got another video to do this afternoon on some Premier League stuff. And hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.